The first scream I heard was not human. It came from somewhere below me, a guttural howl that seemed to pierce the concrete walls like wet paper, a sound that froze my blood before my feet even touched the first step. My name is Michael Torres, and I work as a systems analyst at Nexus Corporation, a 10-story building located in the financial heart of the city. That night, everything began with a simple power outage that would transform my existence forever. It was 9:47 p.m. when the lights flickered and went out. The emergency system took a few seconds to activate, projecting a ghostly white light that turned every corner of the office into an irregular shadow canvas. My colleagues began to move nervously, some pulling out their phones to illuminate themselves, others quickly heading towards the exits. The evacuation order sounded clear and precise through the speakers. All employees, use the stairs calmly and in order. Do not use the elevators. A standard protocol that I had practiced dozens of times during emergency drills. What happened next defies all logical explanation. I went down the stairs with my briefcase in hand, following a group of colleagues. The atmosphere was dense, charged with a strange electricity that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Each step creaked under my weight, a metallic and unnatural sound that did not correspond to the modern construction of the building. 20 minutes later, something changed. I realized I had been descending for too long. Normally, going down 10 floors would take me barely 5 minutes, but I had already counted more than 30 steps and was still far from seeing the end. The group of colleagues who preceded me had disappeared, as if they had faded between the shadows. The emergency lighting was increasingly dim, transforming from a bright white to a sickly yellow that reminded me of the color of psychiatric hospitals. The walls began to show a strange deterioration. Cracks that did not exist before serpentined between the concrete, and dark stains, almost like dried blood, appeared without reason. I counted the steps as a method to maintain my sanity. 40, 50, 70 steps. It was mathematically impossible. The building had only 10 floors, and I had already descended the equivalent of more than 30. The smell of humidity and rot began to invade the atmosphere. It was not the typical smell of mold or a damp basement, but something more primordial, more organic, like the smell of decomposing meat mixed with wet earth. Then I heard the footsteps. They were not mine. They came from below, a heavy and dragging rhythm that did not correspond to any human movement. Something was moving in the darkness, something that did not want to be seen, but whose presence was undeniable. My breathing accelerated. Panic began to climb up my throat like a poisonous spider. The steps now seemed endless, curving in ways that defied Euclidean geometry. The walls moved away and approached with an undulating movement, as if breathing. The footsteps kept descending with me. I could not see what was following me, but I could feel its presence. An entity that did not belong to any known realm, something prior to our understanding of reality. Suddenly, I understood that I was no longer going downstairs. I was descending towards something that was waiting for me, something that had always been waiting. If you are listening or reading this story, I want you to know something. Reality is more fragile than you imagine. The boundaries between what we know and the unknown are thinner than a paper. If you like this story that defies all logic, I ask you to leave your like, share a comment telling us what you felt, and subscribe to our channel. Here we will continue revealing stories that will shake the foundations of your perception of reality. Remember, some doors should not be opened. Some stairs should not be descended.